You're listening to the Daily Sales Tips podcast, and I'm your host, Scott Ingram. Today's tip comes from John Marzio. John is the founder and CEO of DeMartech, a steel fabrication company based out of Montreal, Canada. He's a member of 3 professional engineering associations and the Canadian Professional Sales Association. Here he is.
In physics, velocity or speed is the measurement of the distance traveled over a set period of time. Now, whether you're driving your car or running laps, the distance you cover over that time will calculate your speed. You can also apply this to your sales team. Pretty handy tool to measure your sales process would be to calculate your sales velocity, which is essentially the amount of revenue you can generate over a period of time. The equation is pretty straightforward, but it's got 4 variables that contribute to the calculation. Number 1, your number of opportunities. Number 2, the average deal size. Number 3, the percent win rate. And number 4, the length of the sales cycle. Formula, like I said before, is pretty straightforward. Sales velocity equals number of opportunities multiplied by the average deal size, multiplied by your percent win rate. Take all that, divided by the length of your sales cycle. So simply put, you want to increase the first 3 variables, and you'll want to reduce the 4th. Now we're going to use a generic 10% modification number here for the calculations and for the study. So since the sales velocity equation uses only 4 variables, you can quickly assess which of the 4 actually makes a difference. And you can use that to redefine your sales targets and hone in on the opportunities that will create the highest yield. So supposing you increase your number of opportunities by 10%. So you'll essentially be increasing your effort by 10%. This will likely increase the number of deals you can win by also 10%, and it will increase your sales velocity by 10%. Now, that's supposing you only work on increasing the number of opportunities. Now, if you combine that by also increasing the average deal size, and you look to increase your average deal size by also 10%, then you can lean more on focusing on higher value opportunities, and you can sell more within the same time period, which will add exponentially. If you multiply those 2 factors together, increase in number of opportunities, increase in average deal size, well, 10%, multiplied by the other 10%, now you've increased to 21%. Now this will take a little bit of time because you have to study your client's buying process, find out if there's other types of deals you're not aware of. Maybe there's new markets for your products. Now, what if you can increase your win rate by 10%? Well, now you've added a 3rd variable to the equation. Now this part's a little more complicated. It's going to rely heavily on an individual sales process, and every company will handle this differently. But at least it's important to recognize the value. Now, if you add this 10% more to the other 2, you've increased your sales velocity by 33%. Now, those 3 are the numbers that you want to increase. This next one is the number you're going to want to decrease. That is the time for your sales cycle. So if you can reduce the amount of time you can get all these activities done, then you'll also be contributing to increasing your sales velocity. Don't forget that if you log in more revenue within the same time frame, well, it's pretty much the same effect as just having the same revenue, but generating it in a shorter time frame. So you can actually be short on the first 3 variables, but do it quick enough to reduce the time frame, you can still come out a winner. Oh, by the way, if you reduce your time frame by 10%, then you'll essentially have an overall sales velocity increase of 48%. That's almost 50%. So I would suggest you use your time wisely and don't waste it on subpar opportunities. I would also suggest you go back and listen to this recording a second time and write down that formula. I'll repeat it again. Sales velocity equals number of opportunities multiplied by average deal value multiplied by percent win rate. Take all that divided by the length of the sales cycle. I suggest you give it a try, and you may actually be surprised at what you discover.
For a transcript of today's tip, along with links to connect with John and get a copy of his book, just click over to DailySales.Tips/909. Once you've done that, be sure to come back tomorrow for another great sales tip. Thanks for listening.